Read then, lads and lasses, how we're doing, and welcome back to the channel. In exactly 1 week today, of course at the time of recording, Gareth Southgate will name his England men's national squad for the two upcoming friendly fixtures against Brazil and Belgium. Newcastle United currently have 15, yes, 15 players who are English in our current squad, but which ones should get called up for the England squad ahead of them two friendlies? I've got 4 players down here, and some you might not actually expect who should be within a shout. Of course, there is one main one right there who has to be, and you know exactly who I'm going on about. So without further ado, let's not blabber on, let's get into the video. By the way, 15 English players in our squad, that's absolutely unbelievable. I'm just going to let you know, Mark Gillespie, unfortunately, I haven't put him within a shout of the England squad. I know he's been performing fantastic this season. I'm joking, of course. But actually, if you didn't know, a little bit of news, I can't ever help myself putting a little bit of news in. But Kieran Trippier and, of course, Nick Pope won't be available for these two friendlies, so hence why they are excluded from the video. Kieran Trippier, if you didn't know, it is a bit of recent news. It's said by Craig Hope that Kieran Trippier will miss the two friendlies, of course, in Brazil and Belgium. Not only that, well, it does mean that he will miss our trip to Chelsea on Monday and our Carabao Cup, our FA Cup quarter-final clash away at the Etihad. Of course, we're playing Manchester City in a very, very big game, in a very vital game there. Personally, I'll be down there. It'll be my first away game in a very, very long time. I think it's since Milan, and it'll be the 4th time I've actually went to the Etihad in a row. Unbelievable. First time it was 5-0, 2-0, 1-0. Hopefully this time it's either 0-0 and we can get a replay at St James's Park or something. Actually, I don't even think it is replays in the quarterfinals. But anyways, enough on that sort of stuff. Like I did just say, Kieran Trippier and Nick Pope are excluded from the video and, of course, are excluded from the squad, both due to injuries. Now, who from Newcastle United that are English should be selected in this squad? Like I said, I've got 4 players here, and with Kieran Trippier being injured, of course, we know Gareth Southgate likes to have him as a left back, although he can play right back as well. Now, Gareth Southgate, if it's ever evident to you that we, Newcastle United, have an English right back who can play left back, who got called up to the England squad, is now injured. Funnily enough, we've got a fantastic 21-year-old right back who can also play left back that has been on absolutely fantastic form this season. Look no further than Tino. Honestly, should he be called up in the England squad? It's a bit of a ropey one, because the thing with Gareth Southgate is we can say as much as we want. Of course, Anthony Gordon is the big one. I've got 2 more players. We'll speak about him in just a bit. But Gareth Southgate isn't a man to pick players on form. He picks his favourites. Eddie Howe's got a little bit of a knack for that as well. But Gareth Southgate picks his favourites. For example, if Calvin Phillips, I know this is just a friendly squad, but if Calvin Phillips gets picked for the sort of the Euros, what's going on there? Honestly, he has so many favourites. Jordan Henderson as well. We all know the case with that one, which we will sort of mention in just a second. But Tino, he's absolutely fantastic. Yet again, Gareth Southgate does really like versatility, which also comes into play later in the video. Left back Tino, right back Tino. He can play right wing, right mid, anywhere you want. Tino Livramento. We know Gareth Southgate loves to chop and change his sort of formations in his players when we play lesser calibre of opponents, if you know what I mean, with being respectful to everyone. He likes to chop and change it and have players who can play here, there and everywhere, and Tino Livramento is exactly that. He's got the pace. He's actually got very, very good strength, Tino. His balance is fantastic. He knows how to shrug a man off a ball. He knows how to get up the pitch. He's absolutely everything that we need. But because he's not played for Gareth Southgate before, under Gareth Southgate, I should say, he has played in the sort of youth ranks, but not for exactly England and Gareth Southgate's England. So that might be a sort of thing that plays into that as a factor. Moving swiftly on, away from Tino Livramento and onto a man who you might not have actually thought, and I can kind of agree, maybe not just yet, but it is Joe Willock. And I'm saying Joe Willock for one reason and one reason only. Do I believe he's exactly ready for England? He's going to go in there and absolutely master it? No, I don't, unfortunately. I don't believe he will. We do know he's also been in the youth ranks, actually. Every single player here has been in the youth ranks that I am going to mention. But he's not exactly ready to boss the England setup right now. I mean, we've got fantastic midfielders there. Jude Bellingham, Declan Rice, even Conor Gallagher, I think is actually pretty underrated at Chelsea. But Joe Willock right now, the reason I'm actually saying him, well, look, he's a fantastic player. It's one of my personal favourites. Defending, he's fantastic. He sort of gives so much cover there. Going forward, he's absolutely unbelievable. He's burst of pace. He loves getting them balls into the box. He's a fantastic player, simple as, and he's still very young as well. He's got plenty of time to get into that England squad and actually prove himself in a Newcastle United shirt and then fully gain that as well. But the reason I think he should be within a shout is because Jordan Henderson and Calvin Phillips should be took out. Now, look, I know Jordan Henderson is sort of an 8. Joe Willock can easily take that. There is certainly competition out there, but Joe Willock is certainly 10 times better than Jordan Henderson. Look, I know you've got favourites, right? But if you seriously want to win on what will probably be Gareth Southgate's last sort of major tournament before the talk around him change and even going to Manchester United, I hope that happens, by the way, then you want to put in your best players that you can. Joe Willock is 20 times the player that Jordan Henderson is. Honestly, get him out that squad, man. I know Calvin Phillips is a little bit different. He's not the best player whatsoever. I don't rate him whatsoever. He's looked really slow at West Ham. He doesn't look up to fitness whatsoever, but he is a 6. So if Gareth Southgate wants to be stubborn, just let him be stubborn. Moving on yet again, and it's one you might not actually expect whatsoever, right? It's Lewis Hall. Now, just wait. I know you're thinking, well, he's not even favoured by Eddie Howe for Newcastle United, who's mid-table. How on earth is he going to get a game for England? Just let me explain. If you didn't know already, of course, this is in the past now. Gareth Southgate actually called up Lewis Hall to his, was it the provisional England men's squad? I can't remember. Was it the Nations League we were playing in or some sort of friendlies or something like that? Lewis Hall actually got called up to that by Gareth Southgate. He was training with the England men's squad. He knew a few of the players there, of course. He actually was training, and he's known by Gareth Southgate, of course. Literally, first hand, he called him up to that provisional England squad. So why not again? He's very versatile. We know, yet again, I have just mentioned, he really likes his versatility, Gareth Southgate does. He can play left back, left mid, all along the left-hand side. It's pointless to saying that because he can play all the way down and all the way up that left-hand side. He is a very good player. I've seen some people say he's not playing for Newcastle at the minute because he's simply not good enough. I don't think a player that would be not good enough in 19 wouldn't be putting out these fantastic performances against Manchester City as he was for Chelsea. There's obviously something going on with his sort of transfer speculation at the minute. He's got that £30 million obligation from Chelsea. Is that going to sort of come into play with the transfer we're going to do next season? Of course, in the transfer window, will that sort of be a little bit of a burden? We do not know. I think... Look, I love Lewis Hall. He's a really sound lad as well. Do I want him to stay at Newcastle? 110%. He's obviously got so much potential. But I believe that you can only sign these players that you're not going to play for £30 million when you're in Manchester City. Sort of, see, we can't, as of right now, we need to be building up quality, not sort of luxury, shall we say, although he's an absolutely fantastic player. And last but not least, I've saved the best from last. And there was no point because you know exactly who it is. It's Mr. Anthony Gordon. And it's not just as simple as me saying, well, he's got 14 goals and assists this season and Marcus Rashford's got 9. I really think that is or is it 9? I think it's 9. I think that is a really sort of lazy way to look at football as in nowadays. You can't just look at a sheet and just say, well, he's got more goals, so he's obviously the better player. That doesn't work whatsoever. That's like saying Mitrovic is better than Alexander Isak because Mitrovic has scored more goals in the Saudi League than Isak has in the Premier League. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. The reason why I'm actually saying Anthony Gordon is because in every aspect of his game, near enough, he's probably better. Pace, Anthony Gordon wins that 110% defensive capability, which what you need to have as a winger. I don't know why there's so many wingers nowadays who just, they sit up top, get the goals, they don't get back and help the fullbacks whatsoever. Marcus Rashford is a prime example of that. He doesn't get back. And also what I really don't like about Marcus Rashford, look, he's a weird character. He seems like a really humble and respectful lad. But then on the other hand, he's done this quote, and it was something like, if you don't believe me, I'll let my talking do it on the pitch. Played in the Manchester derby, fair enough, you scored an absolute screamer. That's the only type of goal he could have scored in that game. Then you got slapped 3-1. And not only that, which I don't like about Marcus Rashford, but his body language on the pitch, he just looks so lazy and he doesn't want to get back. You are playing for your boyhood club. You are playing for one of the biggest clubs in the world. Get back. What on earth are you doing? Anthony Gordon couldn't, he'd take that spot 110%. He'd get back for his country because he is an absolute grafter. And he's not just a grafter from getting back either. His goals and assists. I know I did just say that's a lazy way to look at it to compare players, but when you do have the goals and assists, as well as defensive capability, as well as good dribbling, he's getting very physical as well. He's an absolute fantastic player, but saying all that, that probably means Gareth Southgate isn't going to pick him. But another thing is we are always seem to be comparing Anthony Gordon to Marcus Rashford. And look, I think the reason why we shouldn't be comparing them is because Marcus Rashford's going to get picked regardless. He is simple as well as me, Calvin Phillips and Jordan Henderson. He is a Gareth Southgate favourite. He's helped him in the past, although he did miss that penalty in the final with Italy. He has been pretty decent for England. He's since a very young age as well. But there's actually other wingers in there, apart from Marcus Rashford, where we can compare him to, rather than Marcus Rashford, who's not been the worst this season. Look, he hasn't been great. His work rate's terrible. I still would rather Anthony Gordon in there. But even the likes of Jared Bourne, who hasn't been the best for West Ham this season. Look, he is still a fantastic player, honestly, he is. I really do like Jarrod Bourne as a player. I think he's a local lad as well. He's from Darlington or something like that. I really do like him as a player. He's a complete grafter yet again. But Anthony Gordon is definitely a better player than Jarrod Bourne. Phil Foden in there. Phil Foden's Phil Foden. I don't want to make comparisons between the two. Bukayo Saka, fantastic player. And Jack Grealish, who actually is injured right now. I don't know if he's out for these friendlies. Maybe another spot will open for Anthony Gordon, to probably miss by Gareth Southgate standards yet again. So you let me know down below who you would have in the England squad. And of course, like if you do enjoy the video. Subscribe if you are new around here. Gareth Southgate, I know it's just friendlies, but after that you have to win something with this country. Why is it always England in the last minute of something? We'll let ourselves down, we'll get a red card, we'll score an own goal, we'll absolutely bottle it. It's just same old England, isn't it? Come on, this needs to be the golden generation. You have to win something, Gareth Southgate. Come on. I've been Jody Josh. Go and enjoy your day, people. I did nearly just forget to say that.